the hood looked way lighter with these lights. The other side of the hood didn't. Clearly didn't match under these lights. They took it out in the sun, which is what they had for technology back in the day. Matches perfectly. So, understand, you go, oh, well this, my car doesn't match. My paint doesn't match. You have to think about, some of those old repairs, they were working with their technology too, and it's, do you want to live with it? Or do you want to get into stripping everything down? Now, in answer to your other question, the older paints are getting harder and harder to buy. Even if you're a paint shop and you have a dealer and you're in the Midwest and you can go out in the middle of the field and spray it if you so choose. Not wise, but you can go. So the base coat, clear coat systems nowadays have come a long way. They'll protect it. They'll keep it, if you use it a lot or you tour with it a lot, if you're doing a restoration, you want to keep that aspect of authenticity, but, the idea of paint is to protect your car. Yes, it's cosmetically nice to all of us who view it. You want something that stands out and is unique, but its main goal is to protect it. So, if you can do a base coat, clear coat, I would recommend it. You're going to match your color better. You're going to be able to maintain it easier for if you're not like me and don't do this every day. Even though I'm trying to make that a little more widely known. And you're going to have less of a fight trying to color match, trying to find enough paint, trying to get through the EPA rules with the paint shop to spray it. Because most people won't touch it. They won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. They're like, oh, you want me to spray an acrylic enamel? No. You can. It's still being mixed out there, but, the newer paint shops and stuff, they hear all the EPA in their head and they go, no, we don't know how to deal with that.
Does anybody make lacquer anymore?
There is still some lacquer floating around. I don't know that it's being produced, though.
Sorry, Maria, you just said that some paint shops won't spray the acrylic because of what?
Of the EPA, yeah. So California is a good example. So they're mostly going waterborne.
Right.
VOCs.
Because of the VOCs.
Delaware as well.
Yeah. And a lot of places are getting into that.
They say they won't spray acrylic because they won't spray because of the EPA rate of
yes.
in the paint set. Okay.
Yes, because of the different chemicals in the paint. The VOCs, the volatile organic compounds, is what that stands for. Those organic compounds, when they absorb in the body and when they absorb in the air, they don't get filtered because they're organic, So they hang around, and they hang around, or they hang around in the ground if you're not disposing of them properly, etc. And the EPA, gets up in arms about people.
So we're healthier, basically, in California and Delaware than the rest.
Well, yes. In a lot of ways, yes.
Less smog.
There you go, less smog. And the funny thing about, after being a painter in a paint booth, the funny thing about the EPA is, so we had a paint booth. You've got to have the fire department inspect, and you've got to have the EPA come in and do their thing keep up all your city codes. Well, they don't necessarily jive on the same page. So this is where it gets muddy across the country as to who's spraying what. Because, the fire department comes in, they want to see those sprinkler systems in the booth open, accessible, are your airlines run properly. You bring the EPA into the booth, they don't want to see those sprinklers. They know they've got to be there, but I don't want to see them. So we have to tape them off. We have to cover them. For the EPA, who's hung up on VOCs, which is what would make the booth explode, in the fire department world. So anyway, there's some people out there that are making the rules and you're just you're not on the same page with each other. But that is part of some of the reason why it's getting harder to have some of the newer paint shops spray those paints for you. They either don't know how to do it, or the legal ramifications if somebody walked in and caught them doing it. Especially if they're not storing it properly, could shut it down. No. So.
Don't get caught with a cup cut.
Yeah. However, with that said, in spraying these old paints, you don't want to use gravity gun because you're wasting all your paint out into the air. It's putting it out at a higher volume, higher pressure into the air. So if you're spraying lacquer, don't put it in a gravity-fed cup gun. You're wasting the money you spent on trying to get a hold of that obsolete lacquer. They use those pressure bobbin guns for a reason. It's sprayed lighter. There's less waste into the air. More on the panel, less in the air. The modern paints, however, though, you need that volume and pressure to get through the plasticizers, to get through the resins in the paint, to get it to transfer to liquid.
So if you have a car with the older lacquer on it, can you use the new paints to do spot repairs and things like that?
You're going to have a headache on your hands. Even if you know what you're doing, you're going to have a very big headache. And the reason is they don't chemically burn into each other.
Solvent conflicts.
Yes. You don't get the chemical reaction you want. Which brings me back to that blend. You know, those blend lines are a very good example of that. You know, the old guys, or some people spraying lacquer are like, well, burn it in with some more solvent. Well, yeah, it works temporarily, but then when the solvent off gases, well, you wasted your solvent, didn't you? Or you polluted the air, or danced around the EPA, whatever your situation was. So, a lot of the old paints aren't being made. A lot of people aren't spraying them as regularly. You can get single-stage urethane paints. Completely confuse you. So, basically, it would be a base coat, clear coat system with the clear coat built into it, but it's a urethane. So it's still got those plasticizers in it. It doesn't have the old resins, it doesn't have the old solvents. It's compliant with everybody. So you can still get single stage paint. However, if you have a paint shop spray your car in that, and you don't cut it open within about 48 hours, you're not going to cut it open because it gets so hard that it won't buff out. It just won't. It chemically sets. It's tough. So those are options, and are very, very good protective options if you do go paint a full car. So if you want to stay more true to the single stage, you still can, just make sure it's urethane based. Because all the enamels, a lot of the acrylics, they're all going away. They just aren't being produced. And if you can't get your hands on them, trying to find somebody who knows how to spray them properly or blend them properly without wasting the paint and your money and their time and frustration, gets to add up really fast. So I'm a bit of a rare one in the fact that I've gotten in with, I've had the luxury of spraying basically everything up to what's modern now, and I'm grateful to that for a guy in Kansas City. He basically designed the Royals logo. He developed RM paint brands first, Chrysler Black Pearl paint. They built him a lab, and he sat down and formulated the code for them. So I've met some of those people who are still barely alive and kicking, who I've been grateful to kind of apprentice under. So I'm kind of a rare bird in my age group for this particular thing.
I've got a frustration, partially what you're saying. So you're saying if you have an old lacquer acrylic paint job, like you got my Jag or on my Rolls, you're not going to be able to patch it, make sense. You got to make sense out of it. You got to paint the whole panel.
Yes.
Okay. That's number one.
Unless you have
Unless I
the
have.
original
it,
paint and
yeah.
somebody to do it.
So you gotta look at eBay or wherever to find it, if you hope you find it, you probably never will. The second thing.
And then you
is-
gotta hope it's good and it hasn't sat on the shelf and the chemicals haven't eaten through the can.
Well, it's still
and-
better than nothing.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, you'll never match the color anyhow, because back in the day, back when I was painting cars in the fifties, no can of paint was the same as the last can of paint you bought, so what is all your worry about dancing on the head of the pin about the right color gray?
Right.
Because you do different day to day, or week to week, or month to month, in the Jag factory putting out battleship gray or whatever, it is, Dove gray, or
Correct.
whatever they called it. So why care, except for you want your eyes to like the color of paint,
Exactly.
that's it. It has nothing to do with authenticity.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
why was it doing
Because they mixed it, they bought it in big batches, they used to have to paint, they'd make other batches, and the batches never were the same.
And the
Never-
batches, and then the batches nowadays aren't all exactly the same either. We painted a 300 SL in the muted, light blue, and we did it all with modern paints,
It's a
and,
total color.
and, yes, yes it is. And, you know, we couldn't get the gas to work, so no matter what we did, couldn't, you know, mix the same grams, same, you know, but we switched cans on the tint day. Never got that gas to work. So, I mean, it's something to consider, you know, if it's off a little bit, are you gonna live with this? Are you really gonna, you know, stand there and try to be a chemist and formulate it with them? Now, if it's a mile off, you know, with today's technology, you know, stand there and squawk at them. But, you know, understand that people who do get into full paint jobs with those expectations, they get disappointed really fast, or they get mad really fast. And, you know, and then nobody can explain it to them, which adds to.
You're basically saying is never touch up a piece of a fender that's got a bend in it that's repaired, or had a little spot of rust that's repaired. You're never gonna be able to blend it in unless you paint the whole fender, and once you paint the whole fender,
You might have an issue against something else.
well, but even then, it's gonna be the white, one new part on an old car.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's just, you can't do
Not very easily.
Yeah.
Why?
Not if you're a perfectionist and that's what you're after. If you're somebody that can live with that, then yeah, you know, do it. If you can cosmetically, visually deal with it, you know, then you know, I'm not gonna keep you from, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, turn you away. But yes, in that respect, yeah, you can be the best painter in the world, and that's what you're up to. So.
I have a 67 E-Type with the original paint on it, and the doors are slightly different color than the rest of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it came from the factory.
Yeah, Ralph Shadow's the same way. His other shadow that I painted for him, we did that in base coat, clear coat, and we just matched the color as close as we could to the original, and you know, he understood all those discrepancies, and we got it pretty authentically close, and you know, left it at that. And it's a great looking car, so you know, you have to figure out, oh, what am I going to tolerate? What am I going to live with? How much money am I going to spend? You know, and things like that. So.
Question on just types of paint. What type of paint, say you go to AutoZone and you buy some duplicate, what type of paint is that? Is that an enamel?
That's an enamel, usually.
Okay, and you can go to paint supply places and they'll put paint in a spray can for you. Is that a similar kind of product?
Well, you can get it in enamel, but they'll you know, if you go to an actual place that mix it in a can for you, where like, let's say they carry DuPont or Nason or, you know, something like that, you know, that can be in however you want to mix it. You know, you could have that with the reducer built into it already, so that you don't have to figure out how to mix it ratio-wise. You could have that in your base coat color. You could have it in an enamel if they're willing to do it and have the resources. You could do it in a single stage. You know, that's where you get versatile versus walking in. But most anything aerosol you buy on the shelves right now, it's not urethane. It's enamel. So if you're trying to touch something up with a rattle can and you're having issues, it's because you're essentially, not to be too girly, but you're essentially taking nail polish and trying to touch that.
Yeah. Is the enamel incompatible with an old lacquer like this now?
Yes. Yes.
So there's-
So you can clear coat over lacquer and enamel with, okay, let me back up. You can clear coat over lacquer with lacquer clear coat. It's the only thing you can do that. Enamel, you can clear coat over a modern enamel, because you can't go the other way. You can't enamel over a urethane clear coat. People who, they say, oh, I want to preserve this paint, I'm going to clear coat it. You've just repainted your car, and you've wasted money in the process. There's other ways to protect it for much easier, less time, more cost effective, safer. Less reaction to everything else. Because the other thing you have to think about in getting into the paint jobs is you're going to tear everything apart. This isn't just we're going to mask here, we're going to mask here, we're going to tape cover the windows and everything and spray. If you want this done properly, or your jams done properly, all of this is coming off, my friends. Your carpet's coming out. You want the pillars done properly and your lead work addressed in the seams, windshield's coming out, which usually means the dash has to come out. Which usually means you're getting into all the electrical and everything that goes into that. So headliner can be the same way. You get into the headliner, you get into replacing headliner, you get in taking out all the wood, the pillars, the seats, understand that you go in for a paint job, you're going to walk into the paint shop and go, holy crap, I didn't want to restore it. That's how you're going to feel. So, if you haven't done it before.
Well, I have two questions.
Sure.
So the first is, when you paint, is the pounds per inch, which you sort of mentioned,